Well, I was still in Trailer Bride, and Laura was playing in Grand National with Ed and Jenny, and we played a festival, Honky Tonkorama, at the 506. This was like maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and I saw Laura's band play, and I was standing by the side of the stage with my bass player Daryl, and we were blown away by her drumming, just completely blown away. I'd never seen anybody play that well, much less a girl. She didn't play like a girl at all. She was hitting them hard. She was laying into those drums like there was no tomorrow, and it was beautiful to watch. So I was so impressed I had to introduce myself to her after their show, and she said, I don't know, we'd have to get her to say that she was impressed by Trailer Bride too, but anyway, we exchanged phone numbers, and I guess maybe 4 or 5 months went by, and finally I found her phone number and called her, and we got together and had a couple of drinks at the Dead Mule, and then I was like, man, I feel like playing music. You want to come over and jam? Let's just play for the fun of it. So we went to her house, packed up her drums, and came out here to the country and set up and played till like 4 or 5 in the morning. And we wrote a new song that night. And I was like, okay, this is what I've been looking for, somebody I can play with and have so much fun with, and like actually write songs and be so spontaneous, you know. Well, I think being from Mississippi, I've grown up with a lot of storytelling. I think people like to tell stories, tall tales, interesting stories in the South. I've never lived up north. I've been up there, of course, on tour, so I don't know. I can't really compare it that much, but I do know in my family, my mom's always telling a story. My great aunts always had stories to tell. And then when I started going to school and read William Faulkner and Flannery O'Connor, and just, I think, in my mind anyway, telling a story and being involved in writing songs is kind of using a similar part of the brain, you know. In Mississippi in particular, because of all the racism and all the history with racism, it's not cut and dry. It's a very complicated issue, because on one hand, a lot of Mississippians, yes, are racist, but they grew up really close with African American people. So there's a love there too, a depth of love that a lot of Yankees who haven't grown up with African Americans living in their house would never understand. So it's a very complicated thing. And Faulkner's stories and Flannery O'Connor's stories are complicated. There's not just one happy ending. There's maybe some creepiness underneath, some hypocrisy too. There's just so, I guess too, in the Deep South and the Bible Belt, we're all raised to go to church every Sunday, and the idea of heaven and hell and sin and damnation and all that weighs heavy as well. Jimbo is kind of, I guess we would say, sort of a producer, although we basically produced this record ourselves. He was there to like get the studio for us, get Win, make all the connections. He made creative suggestions and that were really good, and he basically cracked the whip on us and didn't let us do too many takes, and that's why this is a spontaneous record. He was like, oh no, that's good enough, let's keep moving, which is really kind of cool, because we kept the energy up. We didn't get bogged down on any one song. In fact, there are a couple of songs where we got in just one take or two takes. So there may not be perfect if you sit down and split hairs, but I think the energy and the vibe is good because of it. Win was the engineer.
Yeah.
And he's a young guy. This is his first studio, but I think he did a really good job. And he basically did most of the mixing too. So that was kind of a long distance. I mean, we got some mixing done and then we had to leave. And then over the phone, we were like back and forth with Win, like bring the vocals down, or please add a little, you know, reverb to the guitar, or please, like, just little nitpicky things. And Win was awesome.
What's up, Win? Hey. This is say hello to North Carolina.
Hello, North Carolina. How are you?
This is Win. Win and Jimbo share some stories.
A lot. Some good, some terrifying.